There could be, but I think the political calculation is more in the other direction. That's why I generally do not have much trust in the intelligence agency or the police intelligence agencies or police in Canada. But in this case, I actually have put more weight into what they're saying because the Canadian government and specifically the Five Eyes and the intelligence agencies have been pushing a very narrow foreign interference, which is basically China is interfering in Canada. We have to be scared of China, and it's a justification to ratchet up tensions with China. And also, part of that is having India as a counterweight to China. And Canada's Indo-Pacific strategy, which came out about a year ago, is very clear, it's very anti-China, and it's based a large part on deepening ties with India. So the political argument, yes, there is a narrow electoralist Sikh community dynamic that would contribute to the thinking of the government, no doubt. But I think at a bigger geopolitical level, the Canadian government wants to deepen ties with India, wants a free trade agreement, which has now been postponed. And a whole bunch of other deepening of ties. So I don't buy it. I buy that. We don't. I agree that we shouldn't, pass judgment until more evidence is in the public domain. But just today, the leader of the opposition or the third party, the NDP, he saw the private intelligence, and he says it points to India's involvement. The Canadian government intelligence agency is saying they caught wiretapping of Indian officials talking about it. I totally presume the Canadian intelligence agencies do wiretap all the different governments, do monitor their communications. So I think I think it's very likely that this is what happened and what Trudeau is saying. And also we have to be clear that the Canadian government sent its national security advisor to India on 2 different occasions earlier in the summer after the assassination to raise this issue with India. And then Trudeau says he raised it with Modi himself when he was there during the G20. So at some point, if maybe it's not 100% certain that Indian government was involved, but if they have pretty credible evidence, it's a pretty big deal for a government to be assassinating political dissidents that are citizens of another country on their soil. So I think the Canadian government, and I'm very critical of the Trudeau government, I think on this issue, I tend to align with what Trudeau has done so far.